As we approach the holiday season, grief can be especially hard to manage for those who have lost loved ones. Navigating the holidays while grieving is challenging, but today we have Dr. Nicole Crawford with us. She's with Keep Moving Forward Consulting, joining us to discuss how we can cope with grief during this emotionally heightened time of year. Thank you so much, Dr. Crawford, for joining us. The holidays are that time of year when we've made holiday memories, and when you lose someone, trying to navigate that is super challenging.
It can be very challenging for some, and it just depends on if the loss is fresh. It actually doesn't depend. If the loss is fresh or the loss is old, you're still gonna have those memories that can pop up, especially if they're associated with this time of year.
So even when the family is around and it is a happy time, you've lost a loved one, perhaps there's a feeling of, I shouldn't be celebrating right now because I'm supposed to be sad.
Sometimes it is, yeah. Some people feel that guilt that still stays because that person isn't here to be a part of this good thing that they have right now. And that's hard. It's hard to think about what do I do and how do I keep going when this part of my life isn't here anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point, because if you've spent a good deal of time with, whether it is a partner or whether it's a sibling, that loss, you feel it, especially around those times when you've made those memories.
Yeah.
So how do you help people cope with it? Because there's probably also just the anxiousness about it upcoming that also can get in your head.
So there's that anticipatory stage where, oh my goodness, Thanksgiving is coming and people are creating menus and doing all of these things, and I don't even want to be bothered. So creating space for people to communicate how they feel, to be able to say, you know what, I'm not happy right now, and letting people know it is okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel sad when everybody else tells you you're supposed to be happy. Just allowing people the space to grieve if they need to.
And is that something that you recommend that people look to their healthcare provider, their mental health provider, the support systems that are out there? They are there to help during the holidays. What do you kind of direct people towards?
I direct them towards the most accessible and best thing for them. If you're feeling down during the holidays, if you're spiritual, going to a spiritual counselor, going to a priest, a pastor, a rabbi, an imam, whomever you might feel is a trusted source for you. If not, going to a doctor, going to a grief support group is especially important around these times of year, or going to a counselor, maybe even just having a consult or asking somebody, do you know of somebody that I can talk to, using whatever support you have, and even a friend. And it's okay to say, I have something to tell you. I don't need any advice. I just need you to listen to me and acknowledge how I feel. People need their feelings validated, and it's okay to tell somebody what I just said. I just need you to listen. I don't need any advice, because a lot of times people want to tell you, oh, you shouldn't be sad. Why? Why not?
Yeah, look at all the things that you have to look forward to, but sometimes we do just need to be heard and to be able to honor those emotions that are coming out.
Exactly.
Because isn't that the thing about grief, is that it meant that you had a strong connection with somebody, and isn't that truly a beautiful thing?
Yes.
I'm not a mental health professional, clearly, so I would probably have this type of conversation with someone, but it sounds like community is very important, and family is important to have around you during this time of year.
Absolutely, and family is however you define it. It could be your neighbors, it could be the family you've created. It doesn't have to be your blood relatives, but whomever it is that you have in your life that can be supportive to you. Turn to those people and tell them how you really feel, and validate yourself. It is okay to not be okay. It's one of my favorite sayings. It's okay to not be okay, especially during this time of year. I'm not a huge fan of Christmas. My memories of Christmas are tied to the people that I've lost. So every year around this kind of time, my family knows that. So we do a little bit of extra things to build those in. Baking something that I know those people would have enjoyed to honor them and the legacy that they've left with me. Or even just going and making sure I make time for my own self-care. So that's what I encourage people to do. I do the things that I encourage people to do. Make time for your self-care, make sure you have supports in place, and do something to honor them or do something to support other people. Go volunteer or do something of that nature.
It's almost like maybe give yourself the opportunity to make new traditions that you didn't do before.
Yes.
And I think the honoring too is something that we can all do. And it could be very simple. And I remember when my grandmother passed away and her Thanksgiving was, it was all her.
Yeah.
And so we started, it did become easier in time to look back and feel proud. But I remember my mother would light a candle, a special candle on the Thanksgiving table in honor of her. And, you know, our emotions would come up, but it was a simple thing that we were like, hey, Grandma, like, we miss you.
Yeah.
And I have fond memories of that too, because I think that perhaps that helped my mom get through.
And so doing things like that, something as simple as lighting a candle, which has significance, using somebody's recipe, or just going to take the time that they would have given you to take care of yourself.
Yeah, oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. I feel like I even shared a little memory with you, and I feel better having talked about it.
That's great.
But thank you for being with us, Dr. Nicole Crawford. Some really great advice. And if you would like to connect with Dr. Crawford, you can reach her via email at kmfconsults@gmail.com.